right, guys, welcome back to Grow the Earth. And today we're going to talk about probably one of the more important things that you need to watch out for in your garden that will greatly affect your plants more than almost anything else. And that is the pH of your soil. Because unfortunately, a lot of things in working with vegetables and plants and trees kind of mimic each other, and they're funnily enough, it's kind of one is the opposite of the other, but they both kind of mimic the same action. So with pH, if you have it too high or too low for a plant, it will mimic the signs of not having enough fertilizer in the soil. That it's almost as if you have infertile soil or you're not fertilizing your plants, because pH will greatly affect the uptake of nutrients, water, and all sorts of other micronutrients and things like that from your soil. And that is going to be the same for like these lettuce I have here. It's the same for these trees that I've got here. It's the same for almost all of the plants or trees that you put in the ground. pH is super important and it's something that we need to keep on top of. Now, the good news is there is a simple and easy way that you can find out the pH of any soil in your area, whether it be in the ground soil, whether it be the topsoil you put in your raised beds, or whether it is soil that you got out of a bag that goes into potted plants. Now you can go and buy the soil test kits from the store. They work perfectly fine, but usually they've only got 1 to maybe 5 little pills in there that you can test your pH with. And with the way I'm going to show you, you can buy one little thing and you will get hundreds of pH tests with probably the same amount of money. And it is a simple thing that is going to help you grow better, help your plants look healthier, and it'll probably actually save you on fertilizer because you're not fertilizing a tree or a plant when it doesn't need it. So in order to do this test, you're going to need a trowel, a spoon. So the way we're going to test our soil for pH is simply with a pH test strip. We want to make sure that we get the full spectrum test strips that have, they can go from like 2 or 3 all the way up to like a 10 or a 12. This is actually kind of a narrow one. It's like a 5 to a 9, which is where most of your soil is going to fall into. If these test strips don't show you a good reading, it's probably because your soil is way outside of bounds, and I'm surprised that you're able to grow anything in it. These are relatively inexpensive. You can pick up, this is 100 pH test strips, and I think that this was 10 bucks or so. I'll actually post a link to right here where you can buy your own, or you can go to your pharmacies, your Walmarts, your whatever. You can go to a ton of different stores and get this same thing. Clear, well, you can use a regular cup, it doesn't matter. And I highly suggest you using a distilled water. The reason we want distilled water is because we want the water to be kind of the control in the situation. We don't have to worry about the water we're putting in here, the pH being off on it, or having some contaminant in it that is going to throw our test off. But in order to use this correctly, we're going to take our cup and we're going to go over here to our plant. Now, the reason that I'm doing this plant in particular is because blueberries are very, very picky about the soil pH that they grow in. If you get the soil pH wrong on these, they won't produce, they won't flower out well, they won't leaf out well. And it's just a real bad mess if you get the soil pH wrong. So we're going to take, oh, I'd say probably about that much soil. If you've got a regular cup, maybe an inch or so of soil in there. Nothing big. We don't have to worry about, getting a ton of soil. Each one enough that we get some in our glass. And then we're going to take our distilled water. Now make sure that we use distilled water again because we don't want our pH off because of the water, and pretty much fill it all the way to the top. Take your spoon and give her a little mix. We want to get a good mix because we want to measure the pH of the soil, so we have to be able to get water to everything that is in that soil. Whether it's some fertilizer that you'd put on there, whether it is a, the humus, whether it is a mulch, whatever it may be, you want a good cross section of whatever that soil is going to be, and you give it a mix for a good 10-15 seconds. And then we're going to simply let it sit. And what you're going to see is you're going to see this separate out into water and material. And once it does that, we can bring out our test strips. All right, guys, so it's been about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, and everything is kind of settled out. And what you'll see here is you'll see all your silt and all of your soil material down here. And then up here is going to be all of like your unbroken down mulch and wood fibers and stuff like that. All right, so simply what we want to do is we're going to take our spoon and we're going to kind of move some of this material out of the way. We're going to take our pH test strip. Now, do not touch this part right here where the testing material is, because you'll contaminate it and then it won't work right. We're going to dip that in the water, give it a nice little stir around, and then we're going to set it over here. This soil came from our blueberries, and what pH you want varies very much so on what you're trying to grow. Blueberries like a 4.5 to a 5.5. So really what I'm looking for is I'm not looking for this pH test strip to hardly change at all. I want it to be at its lowest setting on this, which is, on these particular test strips, is only a 5. So I don't want to really see this change at all. I want to see this at a 5 or a 4, less. That's going to mean that my soil is right where I want it to be. If we test our soil with pH and we find out that we're not where we need to be to grow optimally for whatever plant, whatever tree, whatever it may be that is in that soil, if we want to raise or lower it, we've got to do different things. If you want to raise your pH, say that you are at a 5, but you need to be at a 7, then we're going to add lime, wood ash, we're going to add baking soda, we're going to add something to raise the alkalinity of our soil. If we are too high, say if we're up at a 9 and we want to be at a 7 or at a 6, then we're going to add elemental sulfur in order to bring that soil pH down to the level that we want. Now, typically we want to do this in the fall or in wintertime, whenever that plant is dormant. That way, if we disturb the soil around those plants or those trees, it's not going to disturb anything. You want to kind of shy away from doing this in the summer when you actually have full growing happening, because if you disturb the soil or if you add too much or add too little, you're going to give that plant kind of a spike of soil pH, and it may not like it too much. Now, with our test strip here, we can see that ours really didn't change a whole lot, which means that we're around a 5, which is perfect. It's right dead center of where the pH needs to be for that plant, and we're going to leave it alone. We don't have to add either one of those, and it's going to mean that my plant is going to be able to uptake all the nutrients it wants. It's going to be able to take up all the nitrogen it wants, all the little micronutrients, all the water, and we're going to have a good flush of blueberries. We're going to have a lot of flowering. We're going to have a lot of leaves come in, and the plant's going to be happy and do what it needs to do as long as I do my part and give it the fertilizer that it wants. So guys, as always, I thank you for joining me today. I hope this helped you. I hope that you learned quite a bit and that you are going to be able to apply this in your garden to make you grow bigger and better fruits and vegetables and flowers and fruit, whatever it is that you grow. And as always, I ask you to pray over your family, pray over your garden, and have a great day.